This conference will now be recorded.
Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay. So what we discussed in our last session was automatic payment program. Okay, what I explained is automatic payment program is another way of making the payments to the vendors. Normally, we make the payment to the vendors using two modes. One is manual payment and second is automatic payment. In manual payment, we normally select a single vendor, single invoice or multiple invoices of the vendor. We select it manually. System doesn't propose us anything. But when it is automatic payment program, system will automatically propose us the invoices which are due. Okay, and it can be for multiple vendors. Even we can make the payment to multiple customers, right? Or we receive the payments from multiple customers when we execute the automatic payment program. Okay, what are the different steps in the automatic payment program? First, the configuration steps. All the configurations are done using transaction FBZP. Okay, the configurations are divided into 6 parts. 2 related to company codes, 2 related to payment methods, and last 2 related to house banks. We already set up all company code, paying company code, payment methods in our last session. We were struggling to create a house bank because of Fiori, because house bank can only be created in Fiori. So let's try now. I hope that issue has been resolved. So in order to create a house bank, I will go to my company code, which is XYIN. Okay, and here I can double click on the house banks. We can see one house bank is already created, Citibank. If you want to see the address, we created Citibank. Mumbai branch, Nariman Point branch. Right now, within this bank, within this house bank, we wanted to create the multiple bank accounts. So this is a bank branch. House bank is nothing but a bank branch. Within this branch, if you want to create the accounts, we will double click on bank accounts. And if you remember, I told you, if you are in ECC, you will not get this message and you will be able to create a bank account here itself. But in S4HANA, because SAP made some changes or improvements to the bank accounting, that is the reason you will not be able to create a bank account directly using traditional GUI. What you need to do is you need to click on this create bank account and it will get opened in Fiori. Okay, if you click on this, this will open the Fiori screen. Some issue, so even it is not opening the Fiori screen. So as I told you, one option is you can directly go from transaction FI12 and click on this new bank account screen. If not, the other option is you can directly go to Fiori, okay, and create a bank account from there. Let's try the other option. So in order to go to Fiori, you can use this transaction /UI2/FLP, okay, or you will be also getting the, just 1 minute. System is not able to determine the URL. So system, this is a Fiori issue. System is not able to determine which Fiori link to connect. So each and every Fiori access is provided with the link, which is a server link. So in order to connect to Fiori, let me see. This was getting connected till yesterday. I don't know what happened now. Even our, I was able to create the bank account also. Just give me a minute. /n/UI2/FLP. I don't have the Fiori screen also, Fiori link also. So let me see if there is anything in the desktop. Yeah, Fiori logon. So this is the link which will connect you to the Fiori. Something wrong with Fiori. I tried this yesterday, it was working fine. Because without creating the bank account, you will not be able to proceed. From here, the bank account is a minimum requirement. Just give me a minute. Let me connect with the vendor who has provided the server, and let's see if it can be solved. Just give me 2 minutes. Okay, so vendor is taking. In the meantime, if you go ahead, if you have any questions till now. Any questions from anyone? Are you practicing parallelly?
Vikram, I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
I don't remember if in the workflow of our previous class sessions, if the workflow that we've gone through shows the accounting side of paying a vendor, the debit, credits, and the EBS side of the transaction. Have we gone through that? Have we gone through and shown there's a vendor that we owe $1,000, we pay it, but how does that flow through the EBS? I may be getting ahead. I apologize, but
No, EBS.
I was just wondering about that.
Yes, we are still not discussed the EBS. EBS is our upcoming topic.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, you are asking about the bank statement, right? Electronic bank statement.
Right, but
Yeah.
also I'm asking about what is the accounting flow of clearing the vendor and the suspense account as to the cash clearing.
Right. Yes. So
Right.
that is all part of EBS. In bank
EBS,
account,
okay.
we normally create multiple GL accounts, incoming, outgoing, and main bank account. And then when we run the EBS process, system clears the suspense account and debit or credit the main GL account. That is our upcoming topic, Sarvandam.
Yes, okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Vikram, I had a question.
Yes.
So basically, in the AP, when we are getting some kind of cash discount, we went till that process, but we didn't post a payment, so we didn't come across the small difference. So is that small difference also treated in the same way as foreign exchange? Because when I tried to post a transaction, it gave me an error saying that, okay, I don't recall the exact error, but it basically said that for posting that small cash discount, you need to do something. That so whenever we get a chance, we might want to throw some light on that.
Okay, so you are saying when making the payment to the vendor, if there is a small difference, let's assume vendor has sent you the invoice of 102 and you are making the payment of 100 and you want to knock off the remaining 2 into some expense GL account or revenue GL account, how will it work, right?
Yeah, basically it's the cash discount, right?
Okay, cash discount. No, cash discount we already discussed, no, or not completed.
So we discussed it, but we didn't post any payment, and that is why we didn't face that error. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. I'll explain you that. Okay, in the meantime, because this is getting rectified now, at least this transaction is taking us to the Fiori link. Oh, again it got stopped. Something wrong. Let's try this with FI12 if it works. So this is our company, and then house banks, and then bank accounts. Create a bank account. No, it is still getting okay. In the meantime, let me show you the one that you asked, Radesh. So if I go to, let's assume I created an invoice. Okay, let's assume this is my vendor, this is my invoice date, this is reference, this is my amount. Okay, and this is my expense GL account. With this cost center.
Yeah, please select the payment terms which has got cash discount, right? So
Yes. So activate company code validation. What is this now? Company code validation is inactive in CO area XYN for fiscal year. Fiscal year 2021 already started. Even last week we posted few documents, right? Let's see. Okay, KP. Hello. Yeah, I'm checking, but still it is. Just give me a minute. Let me try once again. Yeah, Fiori is working now, but just 1 minute. Let me see if all the errors are resolved. Yeah, it seems now. Okay, it's work now. Thank you. Okay, so Fiori is also resolved, it seems. But let's first complete this. So I want to post an invoice and it is giving some error. I'm just checking what is this error related to. So controlling area XYIN. I think someone has made some changes in our controlling area due to which something
is
is
there an
wrong.
audit log where we can go and check what changes might have been made? Like, is there just from practice point of view, I'm checking.
No, there is no audit log. The configuration, when you make any changes, there are no logs. That is a big problem, which we normally face in the projects also. So if someone makes any changes, life becomes very difficult. It is very difficult to track who has made those changes. Okay, I think this was the issue. Company code validation. We will see what exactly is this later on, but as of now, Let's focus on our scenario, which is this one. Let's press enter. If not, let's go back and use this transaction once again at 260. So this is my vendor. Please mute yourself. There is some background noise. Are you able to hear me clearly?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, so that issue is resolved. And now, as you said, I need to enter the payment term, which allows us the cash discount. So this is fine, right? XY30. If you make the payment within 7 days, you will get 2% cash discount. Okay, let's try to post it. P does not exist. We already seen this error. We need to remove the payment method because this is not there. Okay, so my document has been posted. Okay, accounting document has been posted. Now, when I try to make the payment of this particular document, so F-53, I'm doing it manually as of now. I'll show you in the automatic also. So 17.04.2021. The bank account from where I want to make the payment and how much I need to pay. 2% discount means I need to pay 980. Value date 17.04.2021 for this particular vendor account, and click on process open items. Okay, it is showing multiple invoices which are due, but I want to restrict myself to, okay, what I can do is I can select all and I can deactivate all, and then I will manually activate the one for which I want to make the payment, which is the one that we want to use. What was the invoice number? Let's go to FB03. This is an invoice that we posted just now. $12. Okay, it is showing 12, but it is not showing any cash discount. What could be the reason? The document date is 10th of April. It is already due in arrears for 14 days. Why? What was the posting date that we used? Something wrong. Let's see the due date of this invoice. So I will go to transaction OFBL1N. Okay, against this particular vendor. And let's see the due date. So Control F, or you can click on this search button here. Due, net due date I'm bringing on the right hand side. So the due date of this invoice is 1st of May. Okay, from the 1st, I think the payment term that we are using is considering from 1st, and from 1st onwards you can see already 17 days are passed, and that is the reason system is not allowing us any further.
But it is 1st of May, isn't it? When we are
1st of
on.
May is a due date. 1st of May is a due date. See the baseline date. 1st of April. Okay, so which means we will be only getting the cash discount if it is less than 14 days. Then we will get 1% discount. We are already 17 days overdue, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and that is the reason what we need to do is, if you want to consider this, we can change the baseline date manually. So I'm changing the baseline date, let's say to 14th. Okay, and now let's try to save it. Now let's try to refresh this and see. There is some background noise. I don't know who, but please mute yourself. There is a lot of disturbance. Yeah. So now if I go to my post outgoing payment once again, F-53. Okay, 17th of April. This is my bank account number. This is the amount that I'm paying. Value date is mandatory for bank related GLs. This is my vendor account and process open items. I will select all and deactivate all, and then I'll go to the last one. Is it clear now? You can see it is allowing us 20 as a cash discount, which is 2% of 1000.
Right.
All clear till now?
Yes.
You can see we are making the payment within 4 days. So let's double click on this. Okay, and now you are saying we have not seen how it is posted and where exactly it will go. So for cash discount also we need to set up the GL account. Okay, if you have not set up the cash discount GL account, it will throw error. But I remember we have done this scenario.
That was
Let's
for
try.
foreign exchange.
Even this one I think, but okay, anyways, let's try to post this. So if the configuration related to cash discount is available, this will get posted. If the configuration related to cash discount is not set up, then we will get an error. Let's try to post. Yeah, so we have not done this. What is happening is we have still not told the system that where this 20 will go, because we are making the payment of the invoice which is 1000 and we are making the payment only for 980, which means 20 we are earning as a cash discount. So cash discount taken, okay, is a revenue account. We have to create cash discount taken as a revenue account, and we have to map this under this transaction key for account determination. Okay, if you are getting this error, you can click on view details. From here itself, directly system will take you to that particular configuration if you want to directly take a shortcut. Okay, see where exactly it is taking. Our chart of account is XYZ. Okay, and here if you click on accounts, first you need to save this settings. Just click on save, and then you go to accounts, and this is where you can specify the account. So you can tell the system which account should be used for giving the cash discount. Let's see if in XYIN we have created any cash discount GL account. I think we are not created. So first we need to create a GL account, two GL accounts, one for cash discount given, second for cash discount taken. If we are giving the cash discount to our customers, we will use cash discount given. If we are getting the cash discount from our vendor, we will say cash discount taken. So first of all, let's create a GL account. Okay, given is expense, taken is revenue. So let me copy this, use number 2, and my description would be cash discount received. Okay, let's save it. Same way, under expenses, I will create another GL account which is cash discount given. It should be 5. Okay, so currently we are setting up our cash discount taken. So we will go back to this and specify the GL account related to cash discount received. This one. Okay, and save. So this is when you are taking the shortcut from the transaction itself. But otherwise, if you want to directly go and do the configuration, then you have to go to transaction in SPRO, IMG, financial accounting, account receivables and payables, business transactions. Okay, and here currently we are doing outgoing payments. Within outgoing payments, we are doing manual outgoing payment, and this is where you would be able to see okay, just give me a minute. Let me close this. For discounts given. Yeah, you can see this is cash discount base. This is not the case. So check. This is outgoing invoices, outgoing payments manual. Yeah, the first one. So within outgoing payment global settings, you can see define the accounts for the cash discount taken and define the accounts for the lost cash discount. So this is given, this is taken. If you open this, it will open the same screen that we have maintained just now. You can see. And for cash discounts given, you will go to this particular transaction. Again, you will provide the chart of account, click on save, and this is where you will be able to set up the cash discount given GL account, which will be used at the time of customer receipt. Right? So now you will go back to your payment, okay, and try to simulate this. More, document, and simulate. Okay, again, more, document, simulate. Now you can see under the simulation mode. Okay, if you want to see in detail, let's go to more, document, and simulate general ledger. In order to see all the 3 lines, there are 3 lines, we are only able to see one. So you can just click on page up, page down button to see all the GLs. You can see 20 is going to this particular GL account. So if I try to post and show you the accounting transaction, so something is mandatory in this GL account. Since it is the GL account related to revenues, normally what we enter in the revenues, we should be able to enter the profit center. Right? That is the reason system is, let's see whether it is related to this or something else. Yes, it is asking for the CO object, and CO object that we normally provide for this one is profit center. So let's click on the more data. It is not allowing us to go here or there. So where is profit center here? So let's take as of now the cost center. Later on I'll show you how to default this as we have done for foreign currency last time. It will not take the cost center because it is blocked. Cost center is blocked for revenue item. So how can I enter the profit center here? Yes, this is where you will be able to enter the profit center. So our profit center is, yes.
If we give the cost center, then profit center, I think that can be derived automatically, right?
But that is wrong, no? We are booking the revenue. For revenue,
Okay.
we normally don't book into the cost center. That is the reason system is stopping us.
Yeah, suppose
Okay.
we don't know the profit center, then directly we can give the cost center. Anyway, it is not going to connect anywhere.
It will definitely connect. You enter the cost center, system will automatically derive the profit center. But normally this concept we use in expense booking, because in expense we know the cost center. When we are booking the revenue is not a cost, so no question of cost center, right? That is the reason we are directly entering the profit center here. Okay, let's try to post now. So now the document has been posted. If you see the document, you will find the invoice of 1000 rupees has been cleared with the payment of 980, and the remaining 20 is going to the cash discount account. Right? Rajesh, this was your question?
Yes, sir. This was my question. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, now let's come to our original topic, which was how to create a bank account. So again, I'm going to transaction FI12, or maybe it is already open. No, let's try to open. So I'll go to transaction FI12. Here I can see the list of company codes. First of all, I will select the house banks. I created one house bank, and now within this house bank, I want to create the bank accounts. In order to do that, I'll click on create bank account, and this will get opened in SAP Fiori. This is a screen which is to create a new bank account. Okay, for example, if you are not able to open this screen due to any reason, what you can do is simply you go to Fiori. Okay, this is a Fiori screen. This is a Fiori link. You enter your user ID and password. This user ID and password would be same what you are using to connect to GUI. Same, exactly same. What is happening? Okay, so when you open, it will look like this. And here you will be, see, there are a lot of things that you can do. But in our case, we are creating the bank account. And for that, you have to go to group called as banking relationship or bank relationship. This one. In this group, you will be able to see manage bank accounts. You can click on this and it will take you to the same screen what we are using the FI12 transaction. So this also will allow you to create a bank account, and this screen also, which got opened just now, will also allow you to create a bank account. So where it got opened in our case, let me close this. This is a screen which got opened when we use transaction FI12, and from there we click on create bank account. So now system is asking you the details of the bank account that you are opening with the bank. So let's assume the bank account we are opening from, let's say 17th of April. Today itself we are opening this new bank account within this Nariman Point branch for company code XYIN, account holder. So normally when you open the bank account, it is on a particular name. So that name you will enter here. So in our case, it is a company name which is XYIN India or whatever you want limited, or XYZ India Limited. Okay, bank country, we already set up the bank country and bank key. So bank country is IN, and bank key for Citibank we are set up as, okay, you can check it in the house bank details. So this house bank is created under which bank country and which bank key? It is created under bank country IN, and this is a bank key. So same you will enter here. It got hanged. So Fiori in the taste system is always problem. Okay, anywhere, even if, when we are working in the projects, if it is a taste system, Fiori is always a problem. Like it is too slow sometimes it is not working, the link is not working. But in the production environment, this has to be managed well, otherwise user will not be able to do any transactions. Okay, so bank country, bank key, the currency in which you are opening this bank account. If you are opening this bank account in any other currency, you will enter that currency here. Account number which will be provided to you by your bank. So let's assume this is my dummy bank account number. Account description can be same, whatever the way you want to identify this bank. And account type. So account type in our case, let's say current account. Normally when we open the bank account for our company, it is current account. Okay, that's it. This is what you need to maintain here. And then you have to click on house bank connectivity to tell the system that this bank account I am creating under this particular branch. Right, so the branch details you will be entering here. Click on add. Okay, the house bank account, let's assume I am creating this house bank within the house bank account, which is my house bank. So my house bank is this one, which I created previously. And very importantly, you have to provide the GL account here, like which bank GL account is assigned to this bank. So what I'll do is simply, as of now, we have only created few bank accounts for testing purpose. Right, if you go to cash and bank, we created for HSBC Bank, for Citibank, for ICICI Bank. Now I am properly creating a GL account for Citibank Nariman Point branch. So what I'll do is, first of all, remember, now I am introducing the new topics related to bank accounting also. Just remember, for any bank account, we normally create 3 separate GL accounts. Okay, one ending with 0, second ending with 1, and third ending with 2. I'll tell you what exactly is the purpose. So let's assume our GL accounts are starting from 2010. So 2010, let's assume 1000. This is my first GL account that I am creating. Okay, this is GL account type. What should I select?
Balance sheet.
Normally it is balance sheet, but in S/4HANA 2020, okay, only in 2020 SAP came up with a separate GL account type called as cash account. This functionality, as I told you, we will discuss later. As of now, what I'm explaining is till 1909. I will talk about 2020 separate functionality, a separate session itself. But let's talk about what was happening up to 1909. So this option was not available at all, and that is the reason we were creating all the bank accounts under the balance sheet account. Account group, it is cash and bank, right? We are creating this under cash and bank. There is no question of profit and loss because it is not a profit and loss account. Short text, this is my Citibank Nariman Point branch main bank account. I'll tell you what is main bank account. Okay, in control data, currency in which the bank account is created. In create bank interest tab, I will enter the field status group related to bank accounts where the value date is mandatory. So YB05, bank accounts obligatory value date. Okay, and save. So I created one GL account for Citibank Nariman Point, but as I told you, for each bank account you have to create 3 GL accounts. Another one which I want to create is, I'll copy this one. This one would be for incoming payments. So whenever I am going to receive any payments from my vendors and customers, normally from customers I receive the payment, right? So whenever I'm going to receive any payment from any customer, I will be using this GL account to receive the incoming payments in this bank account. Right? Just remember one thing, when you are creating the GL accounts with 1 and 2 as the ending number in control data, you have to tick this open item management indicator. Okay, I'll tell you what exactly is this. This is normally used for the clearing accounts, and the GL accounts that we are creating, incoming and outgoing, these are our clearing accounts. I'll tell you the purpose when we will understand the bank repo. As of now, just remember what I'm doing. I'll go to create bank interest and this should be fine. Click on save. Same thing I will be creating for outgoing payments. Whenever I'm going to make any outgoing payments, whenever I'm going to pay to any vendor from this particular Nariman Point account, in that case, I'll be using this outgoing bank account. Okay, so everything same, I'm just saving this. So just remember, for every bank account, we create 3 separate GL accounts. Now, which one I'm going to use here? I need to assign the GL account to my Nariman Point branch. This one I'll be using main bank account. Okay, I'll be using main bank account. Which is my main bank account? Citibank NP main. Okay, and save. So with this, my bank account is now created. Okay, so bank account has been created, which means if I go to transaction FI12 now, okay, select my company code, which is XYIN, double click on house bank and double click on bank accounts, I should be able to see that there is one bank account which is created with this bank account number. Okay, now I have a bank account using which I can make the payment to the vendors. Similarly, if I want multiple accounts to be created for different currencies, I can create in the same way. I can again click on create bank account and I can create n number of bank accounts as per my business requirements. So whatever number of bank accounts I hold in a bank, I have to create like this.
Hi Vikram.
Yes.
Which is this bank account which you have given multiple It is an original bank
Your voice is not clear. Are you talking about the GL account? Lot
The
of
bank
background.
account.
This
Hello?
GL account you're talking
No,
about?
no, no. The bank account number.
This is what you will be getting from the bank. I just provided some dummy number here.
Okay.
You have
So
a bank
suppose
account,
in
right?
our
In any bank.
yeah, suppose in our company there are 10 banks. Okay. So for every bank we will be creating the house bank, correct?
House bank is bank branch. So if I have 10 different bank accounts, 5 in one bank branch, 5 in another bank branch, I have to create only 2 house banks. House
Okay.
bank is bank branch. Bank account is a physical account that you have opened in a bank. Are you getting it?
Okay. In one branch, suppose we are having 5 bank. So where we are declaring it?
So this is what we have created as a bank branch, Citibank Nariman Point branch, right? Now in this particular bank account, if we have multiple, in this particular bank branch, if we have multiple bank accounts, then as I told you, you will be able to click on create bank account and you can create n number of bank accounts here. So again, if I go, let's assume in the same branch, I have 2 accounts, one for INR and one for USD. So let's say I'm opening the another bank account in the same bank branch. This time I'm opening the bank account in USD. Okay, let's say this is my account number. Okay, and then in house bank connectivity, I'll tell the system that this account that I'm creating belongs to the same house bank account, which is this particular house bank. Okay, and obviously for each bank account, as I told you, I need to create a separate GL, that too not only one, I need to create 3 different GLs. So even here also, I have to create additional 3 GLs. Okay, let's assume 100. What I'll do is 10.
So if in one branch we are having 5 accounts, so we will be having 5 incoming and 5 outgoing also.
Definitely, yes. So this is for USD. This is main for USD. Right, same way I have to create. Remember one thing, if you are creating a bank account in USD, in control data, you have to enter this account currency also as USD. Right, in create bank interest YB05, this is fine. So this main bank account you have to assign here, and then obviously you have to create incoming and outgoing bank account also for this particular one. So let me do that also, which will help us in understanding. So copy, this is 1. Okay, so every time starting with 0 is my main account, starting with 1 is my incoming, and starting with 2 is my outgoing. So city, for again USD. Okay, again this account would be maintained in US dollars. And then again I'll copy this. This time it will be 12. I just need to change the description to out.
Where we will maintain this in house bank?
It got stuck. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah. Where we'll be able to
Just a
map it
minute.
in house bank?
We already done, na? Let me show you. Same thing what we are doing here, we are assigning this to the house bank. This is our house bank account, and the account that we have created, we are assigning it to the house bank. What is this?
Okay, where
house
we are
bank account
maintaining
name?
outgoing and incoming.
Outgoing and incoming, you don't need to maintain it here. I'll tell you where exactly it will be used. This is clear. Now within one
Yeah,
house
so
bank,
here we are going in the particular house bank, and under that we are maintaining the main bank account, right?
yes, just give me a minute. House bank account is assigned to bank city does not exist. Okay, so this is house bank account. This is in US. So US enter, and this is my house bank. House bank with bank key IN and does not exist. Just give me a minute. I have written something wrong. So what is my bank key? I think this is wrong. My bank key I have not entered properly. My bank key is this one. Yeah, let's try to save. Okay, so now this is created. Now if you go back to our bank account screen, okay, maybe let's refresh FI12. So now in my company code, I have multiple house banks. In our case, we only have one house bank, that is Citibank. House bank is what? Bank branch. So currently we have the accounts only in one branch. And in this branch, how many accounts we have? We have two accounts, one in INR and second in USD. Is it clear now?
Yes.
Okay, so these are the two bank accounts that we have. In the bank accounts, we maintain the main GL account. So this is our main GL account for bank 1, and this is our main bank GL account for bank 2. Where incoming and outgoing will come, I'll tell you. As of now, no need to worry. This is clear now. You know how to set up the different bank accounts. Yes. So now, if I go to FBZP, we know this, we know this, we know this too also, and we have just completed this house bank also. Now the question is, when we make the automatic payment, we have two bank accounts, one in INR, second in USD. How the system will know from which bank account you will be making the payment to the vendors? So that is something that you need to determine in bank determination. So if you go to bank determination, this is your paying company code, ranking order. So first of all, you will tell the system based on your payment methods. Currently, we have a single payment method or two payment method. One is IMPS and second for foreign vendors. So whenever I will use the IMPS for currency INR, IMPS is only for INR. The first preference I want to give to which house bank? My house bank is only one. So I'll be making the payment from the Nariman Point branch. Okay, for both. So even if I'm making the payment to the foreign vendors, irrespective of any currency, if I keep it blank, this means irrespective of any currency, system will automatically make the payment from this house bank. Save. This is step number 1. Step number 2 is from which bank account. So again, new entry. My house bank is this one. Whenever I'll be using a payment method I, which means IMPS, for all the INR related payments, which bank account we want to use? You will be using a USD bank account or the Indian bank account, INR bank account to make the INR payments.
INR bank account.
So we will say this bank account should be used. And this is where you will tell which GL account will be credited when you are making the payment to the vendors. Which GL account out of the 3 GL accounts? For INR, we have 3 GL accounts, right?
Okay.
Main, incoming, outgoing. Which bank account will be used for making the outgoing payments?
Outgoing will be there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is where you need to tell the system that Citibank outgoing payment account will be used for making the payment to the vendors whenever the payment is made from this bank account. Okay, and if you want to tell the system of particular business area you want to default, whenever I'll be making the payment from this particular bank, this bank is normally for a particular business area, you can enter it here. Otherwise, keep it blank. If you're not worried about business area, keep it blank. Sometimes we have a separate bank account for each plant. So in that case, you can tell the system whenever the payment is being done from this plant, this business area should be defaulted by default. Okay, in our case, that is not the case. We are keeping it blank. Now for foreign payments. So again, my house bank is same. I have the bank account in the same bank branch. Whenever I'm making the payment using payment method F and any currency, again, I'm keeping it blank. Any other currency, which account I'll use to make the foreign payments? My USD account. Okay, and for this one, which GL account will get credited whenever I'll be making the payment? It would be outgoing for USD. Clear till now? So here, if I have n number of bank accounts, you will specify based on the payment method, based on the currency of the original invoice, which payment or which bank will be used, which bank account will be used to make the payment, and from which GL that would be credited. Okay, this is not relevant. Let's go to available amounts. In available amounts, you normally enter how much amount is available to make the payment from a particular account ID. So if you are telling the system that make the payment from this account, but what if there is no amount available in that bank account? So this is a regular activity. This is an activity that you have to maintain on day-to-day basis, telling the system how much amount is available in a particular bank account. And if you want to avoid this activity, what you can do is you can say 9999, which means in a particular bank account, there is enough amount available. Okay, normally as a business, they normally maintain this on day-to-day basis. So they will say in this currency, how much amount is available in this particular bank account. As of now, I'm just saying 9999, this much amount is available. Same for this, for USD, in US currency, the same amount is available. Entry, something wrong, house bank account ID is US, this one. Okay, let's click on save. Next is value date and expenses. So you know value date is mandatory whenever you are making the payment. Whenever you are making the posting in the bank GL account, value date is mandatory. But when you are making the automatic payment, system is not going to ask you value date for each and every payment. So in order to default the value date, if you want to tell the system the value date is going to be this, you can default it from here. So you can say if my payment method is I, and whenever I'm making the payment from this particular house bank account, whenever I'm going to make the payment from this bank account, the value date would be same as the date on which I'm making the payment. So 0. 0 means on the same day. So if I'm making the payment today, if my payment date is 17th of April, system will take value date as 17th of April. If I want value date of the date plus 2 additional days, which means if I want value date as 19th of April, if I'm executing it today, then I will add that many number of days here. So normally in most of the time you will find this is blank. So this is for foreign, my house bank, my bank account. Okay, again I want to keep it as it is. Enter. So this is also fine. 0. No need to worry about this. Okay, just click on save. Expenses and charges are applicable when your bank is also charging you additional amount while making the payment to the vendor. But normally we don't do that using automatic payment program. So these are the steps that you need to follow when you are configuring the automatic payment program. Okay, just remember there are 6 steps in total in order to set up the automatic payment program. Step number 1 is setting up for all company codes who are participating in automatic payment program. Second is settings related to the paying company code. Next two are related to payment methods. One is payment method within a country. Second is payment method within a company code. And last two are related to bank. One is to set up a new bank account, and second is to determine the bank account based on the sequence. Once this setup is ready, now I'll show you. Till now we have discussed how to make the manual payment to the vendor. Now using this new setup, we will try to make the automatic payment to a particular vendor. Okay, so what I'll do first of all is, in order to avoid any confusion, I will clear all the payments, all the invoices which are due for this particular vendor, so that we can see only those invoices which are related to automatic payment. In this manual payment program, it got stuck. Yeah, so this is my account and I want to process open items. An entry is required in the value date. Let me enter the value date. Okay, and how much I totally need to pay in order to clear everything? 1400. So what I'll do is I will go to more, document. No, just 1 minute. In order to change this amount, because I need to change this amount. So here, document overview, double click, and here I will enter the star, because I'm making the total payment, whatever is due to this particular vendor post. Okay, now which means if I go to my FBL1 and transaction, I should not be able to see any open items for this particular vendor. Nothing is open. Okay, now I will process one invoice so that I can show you how the payment will be done. So this is my vendor. This is the invoice date. Okay, whatever date you want to take. This is a reference. This is the invoice amount. Okay. And then this is my cost center. Okay, normal invoice posting. And just for the simplicity's sake, I don't want to confuse you with the cash discounts and all at this stage, because I want to keep the first scenario very simple. Okay. Now, if you remember, I told you the payment method. Whatever settings we have done in automatic payment program, those are based on the payment method. So if my payment method is I, system will treat it as a local payment and it will pay from the local account. If it is a payment method F, system will treat this as a foreign payment and it will make the payment from the USD account. What if I don't provide the payment method at all? If I'm not entering the payment method here, then how the system will know whether this is the local payment or the foreign payment? System will not be able to know, right? And that is the reason system will not be able to make the payment. It will throw in error. It will show this invoice in error. So first scenario, I want to show you that. So let me post. Okay, now we have an invoice. Is it created? Document, post. Yeah, we have an invoice number 13. We want to make the payment of this invoice using automatic payment program. So in order to make the use of automatic payment program, you can directly use transaction F110, or you can go to accounting, financial accounting, accounts tables. This is periodic processing, because normally automatic payments are not made on day-to-day basis. Normally we make the automatic payment once in a week or twice a week, okay, according to the company's requirement. So you can see transaction F110 for making the payments. Double click on this, run date. Run date is the date on which you are executing this particular transaction. So let's say it is 17th of April 2021. Identification number is a unique number that you want to provide to this payment batch. So you can say one also, you can say if you want to give some logic that this is the payment which you are making from Citibank Nariman Point account. So you can say Citi or CINP1, which is telling the system that you are making the payment from a particular. So whatever logic you want to finalize. As of now, I'm keeping it simple, 1. In parameters, you need to tell which invoices you want to consider in this payment. So first of all, for which company codes you want to make the payment. I want to make the payment for company codes IN. If there are multiple company codes which you want to include in the single payment run, you can write comma and you can keep on adding whatever number of company codes you want to use. Okay, which payment methods you want to consider in this automatic payment program. So I want to consider both F and I. Okay, so you don't need to provide any comma and all, just need to write like this. I want to consider F payment method and I payment method also, or you can do F4 and bring. Normally both of them are not included. If you want to include, just select and bring it to this side, which means it is selected. Sorry. Okay, so you can see this one. Now very importantly, this field is mandatory. Next posting date, next payment date. When are you going to make the next payment to the vendor? Why system is asking? Why system is not only concentrating on what I'm making the payment today? Why it is asking when are you going to make the next payment? As I told you, automatic payment program, we don't execute on day-to-day basis. We execute, let's assume there is a company policy that we will make the automatic payment once in a week. Every Friday we will make the payment to the vendors. So whatever invoices are due, every Friday that payment will be made to those vendors. Now you tell me one thing. There is one invoice which is due on Monday. Okay, there is one invoice where the due date is on Monday and we are making the payments on every Friday. So you will be making this payment to this vendor on which Friday? Friday which comes before the Monday, or Friday which will come after the due date? Friday before the due date, which is on Monday, or Friday after the due date, which is after that Monday?
Generally speaking, after the due date.
After the due date. So if you are making the payment after the due date, there can be some interest which will be charged to you by the vendor. If not interest, your rating, the rating agencies are giving you the ratings, right? So if you make the payment after the due date, your ratings will affect, right? So when should you make the payment? Let's assume, let's take a simple example. I gave you an invoice. I am your vendor. I gave you the invoice, and that in that invoice, the due date is on Monday, right? And you know that normally I make the payment only on Fridays. So when I'm making the payment on this Friday, if I know that there is one invoice which is due on Monday, I should make the payment now itself, because next payment would be made on next Friday. And if I don't make the payment today, in that case, vendor will unnecessarily call you that your invoice was due and you have not made the payment. Your ratings may get affected, and vendor may also charge you some interest for the additional days that you have took in order to make the payment, right? That is the reason you are telling the system when are you going to make the next payment, so that if there are any invoices which are not due today but which are due before the next payment date, those also should be considered in this payment run. Are you getting the logic?
Yes.
So why system is asking you the next payment date is because if there are any invoices which are not due today, I'm executing this program today, system will automatically consider all those invoices which are due by today. But I want to include the invoices which are due not only today, but which are due till the next payment date. So that is the reason, if my next payment date, just for example's sake, let's say every weekly. So next payment I'll be making on 24th of April 2021. Okay. If you come down, system will ask you to which vendors you want to pay. So I want to consider all the vendors, for example. I want to consider all the vendors for this particular company code. Okay, so normally 1 to Z, 10 times Z is what we write for making the payment to all the vendors. If you want to consider customers, again, you can enter 1 to whatever number of customers you want to consider. If you want to consider only a particular set of vendors, you can enter the vendor number. Right? So this is called as parameters. As I told you, currently we are doing the automatic payment run. Automatic payment run is done in 4 steps. 4 steps of APP run. What are those? Number 1 is creating the parameters, entering the parameters, where you specify to whom you want to pay. Number 2 is system will create a proposal. So system will tell you, based on the parameters, these are the vendors to whom you need to pay, these are the invoices. If you want to avoid the payment to some of the vendors, you can change the proposal. After changing the proposal, you make the actual payment, which will generate the payment document and the lines will be cleared. And finally, you will print the payment so that it can be sent to the bank, so that bank can make those necessary payments to the vendors. So these are the 4 P's in automatic payment run. So just now we completed parameters. Once you completed parameters, click on save parameters. Okay, if you go to status, it will show you the parameters have been created. Parameters are entered for this particular payment run. Okay, you can see in the status, parameters have been entered. Now next is proposal. Schedule the proposal. You can schedule it for the later time or you can do it right away. So I'm saying start immediately. If you want to schedule, let's say if there are thousands of vendors which needs to be paid, and you know every Friday we do this activity, you can schedule it in the night. So automatically in the night, system will generate a proposal for you which you can process on the next day. Okay, so start immediately, press enter. So what system will do is system will generate a proposal. Proposal is running. Keep on pressing enter. You will find this green proposal has been created. Once the proposal has been created, you can display the proposal, which will show you which vendors are selected, which invoices are selected. If you want to edit it, edit means if you want to exclude some of the invoices from the proposal, you can do the edit proposal. So let's click on edit proposal. Just press enter. Okay, you can see only one vendor is selected because we have made the postings only to one vendor. Only one vendor is selected, and that too we are getting this 2 red messages. So there is something wrong. That is the reason you are getting this red. If it is green, it means everything is okay and system will go ahead with the payment. If it is red, this means it is an exception. Exception means although system knows that we need to make the payment to this vendor, but due to some reason, system is not able to make the payment. So this is vendor. If I double click, it will show me the invoices of this vendor. You can see there is only one invoice which is pending to be paid to the vendor, but it is having something wrong. What is wrong? Let's double click again. So the wrong is it is payment block. We already understood. We can make some of the invoices as payment block. You can see item is blocked for payment. Do you remember how this block came into picture? Where we entered this block condition? If I show you the invoice, If I double click on vendor line item, it is blocked. Where we told the system that it should be blocked? You remember payment term OBB8? When we set up this payment term, I think we are using this. When we set up this payment term, we told the system that by default, I want to block this payment. And that is the reason system is not able to make the payment to this vendor because this invoice is blocked for payment. So what you can do, if you want, you can directly unblock from here, which means you can remove this and click on enter, continue, enter. Now system is not able to determine the payment method. Okay, let's do one by one. So we don't want to see all the errors together. Let me close this first. So first we will solve the error of payment block. Okay, so what I'll do is I will go to my invoice. I think I closed it. So FB02 to change the document. I want to change this document. What I want to do, I want to remove this payment block from the invoice. Okay, so now invoice is not blocked for payment, but this proposal is already created. So if I want to run the proposal once again, I can delete the existing proposal. So I'll go to more, edit, proposal, and delete the proposal because I want to execute this proposal once again because I made some changes now, right? So I'll click on proposal, again start immediately. Proposal is running, proposal has been created. I can click on edit proposal. Now I'm getting another error. So still it is an exception. Double click, it will open the invoice. Double click on the invoice, it will tell me what is wrong. Now payment block is not a problem. There is some other problem. What is that problem? Payment method. System doesn't know which payment method I should use to make the payment to this vendor. So what should I do? If you see my invoice, in my invoice, I have not entered the payment method. It is blank. So either I can enter the payment method here itself. Okay, it is not allowing from here. You have to click on reallocate. Then it will ask you the payment method. You can enter the payment method from here. But this I cannot do for each and every vendor, for each and every invoice. So what is best? The best is you enter the payment method in the original invoice. So now I'll make the changes in the payment method. I will say this invoice will be paid with payment method I. Okay, but again, it will not take impact because I have created the proposal already. So again, I have to delete the proposal. See, what I'm showing is try and error. Normally you don't, in the project, you will not do this delete again and again. You can directly do it, the changes in the proposal itself. So again, I'll create a proposal, press enter, proposal is running. Let's go to edit proposal. Again, it is red. So there is more errors. There is some another error now. Let's double click and see. Double click and see. So now payment method, it is identified, but still there is some other error. What is that error? No valid payment method found. So even if I have the payment method, but still there is some error. So let's click on reallocate and try to do manually. What is the error? From which house bank we want to pay? We want to pay from this house bank and we want to make the payment from this account. If I press enter, see what error we are getting. Customer vendor does not have a suitable bank details for payment method I. Do you remember? I told you when we set up the payment method I told you we can make some fields mandatory in the vendor master data. If the bank details itself are not available of the vendor, how can you do the bank transfer? How can you do the IMPS? So what should I do now?
I need the vendor master to put in the bank information.
Exactly.
You have
Without
to
that, system
payment.
will not allow me to go. Right. So I have to maintain the payment method. So I'll go to transaction BP. If you remember, purposefully we have not maintained this because I wanted to show you this error. Double click. Okay. Go to more. Sorry. Go to the role. The role, not even role. This role is fine. You go to payment transaction, and this is where you can maintain the bank details. So if you want to add a new line, currently we are in the display mode. Click on the change mode. Yeah, so let's assume again it will ask you in which country, in which branch. So we, in our case, we have created the branch Citibank, but you can see there are a lot of other branches also created. So let's say this vendor has a bank account in ICICI Bank and account number is this. That's it. So bank key, bank account. In bank key, I already have the IFSC code and all other details. Bank branch, IFSC code, everything is maintained in the bank key. Okay, save. Now I have the bank details. So what I'll do again, I will delete the proposal and try to execute and see
What
whether it
about the
is.
control key?
Sorry.
What about the control key in the vendor master bank details we have given?
This one.
Yeah.
Yeah, forget about this as of now. I'll come back to you on this. Let's keep it simple first and then we will add the scenarios. Okay.
Okay. And what about
This
this
control
ID? Sorry for that.
ID is automatically generated. So as many number of bank accounts you will create, it will generate the ID. If there are multiple bank accounts of the vendor, you will keep on adding this and this will automatically generate a number. Okay. Now again I will execute a proposal. Now everything is clear. System knows the payment is not blocked, the invoice is not blocked for payment. System knows the payment method is I. System also knows that for payment method I want to use which bank account, and system also knows the vendor bank details of the vendor. So let's try to execute and see if it is everything is green now. Okay, so edit proposal, enter. You can see everything is green. This means system knows everything, that how much amount to be paid, from which bank account to which bank account of the vendor. Everything is known to the system, and that is the reason it has been turned to green. Once this is green, which means now system knows what payment to be made. So proposal is okay. Now you can make the payment. Okay, so you will click on payment run, press enter. Payment run is running. Posting orders, one generated, one completed. When you get this message, this means system has generated the payment document. If you want to see, click on payment log. Click on this button, payment log. It will clearly show you the payment has been made or not. If you want more details, what you can do is in the log, you can say the system what information you want to capture in log. As of now, the log is very simple because I have not ticked on these indicators. So system is saying the payment has been made. If I want to know which payment document is created, I can click on more again, go to edit. This time I will go to payment, and in payment, click on the payment list. Okay, this program will come automatically. Press enter. Okay, this is where system is telling you that payment document has been generated. This is the payment document number. And which invoice is cleared? This invoice is cleared. How much payment is made? This much payment is made. Okay, these are the bank details. I think of the vendor. Yes, ICICI bank details of the vendor. And from which bank account the payment is made, even that also you'll be able to see. Okay, with payment, which payment method is used, which bank account is used for making the payment, all that information is captured here. Right, you can see from this bank account, this much amount is paid to the vendor. So this is how this automatic payment functionality works. In our example, we have just seen one invoice. If there are thousands of invoices, you can make the payment of thousands of invoices, thousands of vendors at once. Okay, so you keep on posting some invoices and see, you will get some in red, some in green. You have to check why it is red. If there is a valid reason, fine. If there is no valid reason, you have to modify it and you have to process the payment. Okay, and the last step, once you complete all these things, so 3 P's we have done. We have entered the parameters, we have created the proposal, and finally we have executed the payment. Now, in order to send this file, this information that this payment we want to make to this vendor, you have to generate a payment file. Okay, and in order to generate a payment file, you can simply click on printout. Okay, but before you create a printout, there is one additional thing that you have to enter it here. Okay, you have to create a variant. I'll tell you what exactly it is. So these are the programs. These are the SAP standard programs which are provided, which will tell what particular file to be created. So for example, first of all, I need to be in the change mode. I think I'm in the change mode, so I'll click on maintain variants. Just give me a minute. So print out data medium. If I do F4 now, it will not show me anything because we have not created any payment variants till now. So in order to create a variant, maintain variants, it is the same thing. So maintain variant, no. Okay, first you give some name. Let's say variant test, and then click on this. Yes. So you have to provide some name. Just click on this, continue, and here you just need to enter the payment run date. What is our payment run date? Today's date. So 17th April 2021. And what is the identification number? We have created this one. Okay, even this much is enough. Just come down and go back. Just save these values. Okay, just provide the description. Again, I'm just providing the description as test. Click on save. Now if you go back and try to generate a, first you need to save this test variant, save. Now if you go to status and click on the printout, it will ask you question mark so that you can provide some your logic here. So you can just say F110 or whatever. So it is just a job name that you want to give. Press enter and you can see print job has been scheduled. So this means if I click on more, go to edit, go to payment, and if I want to see the printout, no, it has not been generated. Just give me a minute. More, edit, payment, output
Before
file.
that, we have a printout option, right? That will not work.
We have done this, not just now. Same thing we have done. Printout.
Okay.
Same thing we have just done. So I want to see the log of the printout. It has been scheduled. It is
And
not
what about this printout data medium? The last tab it comes, right? Somewhere.
Same thing we have done, Aarti. We have done the variant, na?
Okay. Okay. So can't we see in SE38 or somewhere?
Yeah. So it generates a job which you can see in SM37, but it comes immediately here. So let's see in SM37, it will show the print job. You can see it is finished. These are the two jobs that I scheduled just now. So if I want to see this job log, it is showing the printout. Okay, it is showing the no records were selected. That is the reason I'm not able to. Okay, let's do one thing. In the next one, what I'll do is, first let me create a invoice. Normally this print media should be selected at the time of payment itself. Now since there is no payment, it is not taking any printout. So 1000, this is our GL account, and then I'll go to cost center. Post. Okay, so invoice was created. Now if I go to F110, okay, this time I want to create a second proposal to, again I need to enter the parameters. So this is my company code, this is my payment method, and this is going to be my next payment date. Okay, vendor, let's assume these are all my vendors. So my parameters are done. I will click on save parameters. I will go to status, create a proposal, start immediately, enter. So proposal has been created. I can click on edit proposal, enter. Can you tell me why? It is saying there is no invoice selected. Why no invoice selected? Is there any invoice due on 17th? This is our invoice. This is due on after 30 days. This is due on 1st of May. And next payment when we are going to make? We are making the next payment on 24th. Still we will be able to make the payment without any problem, right? Are you getting it? So if you want to include that, in that case, first of all, let me delete this proposal. Okay, and if I say that my next payment will be done directly in the next month, 17th of May. So I want to include all those invoices which are due by 17th of May. Save parameters, status, proposal. Start immediately. Enter. Proposal created, edit proposal, enter. The invoice is selected, but it is red. Now why it is red? I think you should be able to tell me very quickly. Why it is red? What was the first error that we got last?
Payment method is not selected.
Before payment method, what was the first error that we were getting?
Oh, payment block.
Payment block. I also think so. So let's double click and see whether payment block is the issue. You can see payment block is the issue. Remove this. Now the payment method P, we have not created any payment method P, so that error will come. So in order to avoid that, let's go to reallocate, and we will provide this information. We have to change it to FB02. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to change the payment method from P to I. And this one also, let's remove it so that it is not creating any confusion. Okay, so again, let's go back to F110. Let's delete this proposal once again. So you have to practice like this again and again, delete, understand, come back, then only you will become more and more confident. Proposal. If you try to be expert, or if you try to be everything green in first, then that will not help you learn. More rates means you will learn more how to solve that error. That is exactly what you are going to do in the project. Nobody will come to you if everything is green. As a consultant, you will only get the tickets when there is something wrong in the payment, right? So more rates is good for you. So edit proposal, enter. Now it is green, right? Now before I go and make the payment, I'll execute on payment run. Normally it shows generate a payment media, maybe payment media is not selected here. That is the reason it is not generating the payment file. So let's see, otherwise payment file I'll show you in the next class. Let's click on enter, payment run, and then your printout. Okay, let me, before go to printout, let me see, maybe the thing which is missing in our case is in our configuration, have we mapped the form? So FBZP, payment method in country. So what form you want to send to the bank? How are you going to send this information to the bank? Yes, this is where I think the problem is. Payment medium program. This comes normally automatically. So let me do one thing, use format. Let me use the standard format. So let's say domestic payments in US. As of now, I'm just taking whatever is available as a standard one. Save. Specify both document types, clearing document type ZP. Save. Okay, now let's go and F110. Let's go to printouts. Start immediately. F110. Print job has been scheduled. So more, edit, payment, it is not showing here. Once again, so FB60, I'm just trying this last time, otherwise tomorrow we will see this in detail. Okay, post, and then obviously it will stop me. So let me rectify those things also. So what I want is, I don't want any cash discount. I'm removing this payment terms. I don't want payment method P. I want payment method I, and I don't want payment block. Okay. Now I'll go to F110. Okay, this is my proposal identification number 3. Parameters, I will keep it same. Okay, even my vendor should be same. Let me save the parameters. Save the parameters. Let's go to the next one now. Status, proposal, start immediately, enter, enter. Proposal has been created. Let's go to payment, sorry, edit proposal to see if it is green. It is green. And let's make the payment. So payment run, yes. See, now you are getting this option here, create payment medium. Click on this, tick on this, and start immediately. So while it will make the payment, it will also generate a payment file. Press enter, running, generated. And now if you go to edit, payment, it is still not showing the something wrong. Just give me a minute. Status, payment is done. Payment file is still not generated. Let's try to generate like this. F110. Normally it shows payment file generated, and then it will appear in more, edit, and you will be able to see the payment file here. Okay, this one I will come back to you. So as of now, I'm just going to SM37 and let's see if I'm able to see any file here. Execute. So the last one that I executed is this one. Let me double click and see if there is any file here. Okay, this file information I'll show you last. So last step we are pending with, which is nothing but print. In addition, just one last scenario for today. There is something called as debit balance check. Okay, there is something called as debit balance check. What is the meaning of debit balance? What does it mean when we have a debit balance with the vendor?
So we need to recover some cost from the vendor that we need to deduct from payment.
Exactly. No, debit balance means overall. We are not deducting only. We are overall balance is debit. So let me give the example. Let's say there are two invoices. Invoice number 1, 1000. Invoice number 2, or let's keep it simple. There is only one invoice. Invoice number 1, 1000. So while we make the payment, automatic payment program, how much payment will be made to this vendor? 1000.
1000.
Right. Yeah, you will be making the payment, whatever it is, whatever is open. 1000 is open, you will be making the payment of 1000. But now we know that there is one credit note with this vendor of 1500. So in this case, what you will do? You will make the payment or what?
No, the
No,
system
actually,
should
we
stop
are
it. Yeah.
set
The
up with
overall
the credit
balance,
note.
yes, the overall balance is how much? 500 debit. Now, if this is a case, by default, system will go ahead and make the payment of 1000. Let's try to create this scenario. So I'm going to transaction FB60. Okay, I'm creating a, or maybe before I create an invoice, I'll create a credit note. As of now, the balance is clear with this vendor, right? We made all the payments, I think. Yes, till last. So this is my invoice date, this is my reference, this is the amount of credit note. Okay, post. Posting only possible with zero balance. Here I need to enter 1500, not 1000. Post. Okay, and then I have another invoice, which is $1,000. So what is my total balance with this vendor?
$500 debit, right?
It should be 500 debit. Let's go and see. FBL1N, execute. So there is 500 debit. Right now, let's try to make the payment using automatic payment program. Okay, let's say this is number 4th. Okay, before that, if you want to change those two documents for 2-3 things. Number 1, I want to remove the payment block. Number 2, I want to remove the payment method and make it I. And number 3, let's remove the payment. Yeah, let's remove the payment terms so that it is due immediately. Okay, same way for document number 15 also. So again, is this correct? No, this is not the correct one. The one that we have posted last one is, let's see in the balance report. So FBL1N, execute this one. So here also, okay, no payment term, no payment block. This is fine. So let's go to F110, and this is number 4th. Parameters, these are my company code, this is my payment methods, this is my next payment date. Okay, vendor, this to this, and let me save my parameters. Go to status, create a proposal, start immediately, enter, enter, and go to the edit proposal. See what system is doing. System is normally, if there is a debit balance, system shows in exception. Some background noise. Mute yourself, please. So if there is a debit line item, if there is a debit line item, system shows in exception, which means you can update. Please mute yourself. Who is this? Baban, please mute yourself. I muted you from my side. Yeah, so if there is any debit line item, it will create an exception and it will just make the payment of the normal invoice, which is wrong. If I go ahead with this proposal, what will happen? I will end up paying 1,000 to the vendor, although there is a overall debit balance. So in order to avoid this, what I can do is I can click on more, go to edit, proposal, and there is an option of debit balance check. Okay, I can simulate. Simulate means it will just show me if there is any debit balance. Or I can execute. Execute means if there is any debit balance, system will automatically block the invoice for the payment. So first let's simulate. Okay, it will come by default this program, just press enter. So system is asking you if there are any such invoices for any vendor where there is debit balance, it should block with which indicator. I'll say block with payment block indicator A. And as of now, just simulate. I don't want to execute, I'm just simulating it. Execute. See, it is showing that there is one line item of this particular account where there is a debit balance. Okay, it will not show you the line item, but it will just block that particular vendor for any payments. If you feel this is good, what next time you will do is, instead of doing the simulation, you will go to edit, you will go to proposal, debit balance check, and instead of simulate, you will say execute. Enter payment method B, and you can see now there is no simulation run. This means it will block immediately. Okay, execute. So it is saying it has blocked this vendor for payment, which means now if you go to proposal, edit proposal, what you should see, all the invoices are blocked for payment, which means system will not make any payment to this vendor because there is a debit balance. Earlier, what system was showing, without the debit balance check, system was allowing us to make the payment of the invoices. After we perform the debit balance check, if you see that invoices which were earlier showing as to be paid, now it will show it is blocked for payment. You can see B. Should be B, it is taking by default. Then why it is asking us? B is manual payment block. Yes, by default it is showing manual payment block because we have manually told the system to block this particular payment. Okay, so if the payment is blocked, system will not allow you to make the payment to this vendor, which is correct. Normally, many customers, they request us that this should be automatic. Why should we execute a separate step for performing the debit check? If there is a debit balance, system should block everything. But in SAP, that is not possible. We have to perform a debit balance check once the proposal has been executed. So first you execute the normal proposal, then you perform the debit balance check. System will automatically block those invoices, and then you carry out the normal payment. In our case, there is no invoice which needs to be paid now. But in normal case, when you are executing this for hundreds of vendors, this will be blocked and other green ones can be paid to the vendor.
Vikram,
Yes.
just have a quick questions. Why we are blocking because of debit balance? It means that the vendor is our debtors.
No, not necessary. No. So let's assume there can be multiple reasons of debit balance. Let me give the example. You got an invoice from the vendor, which is 10,000. Okay, this is invoice number 1, which you got for 10,000. And you already made a payment. Okay, later on, after making the payment, you realized out of 10 quantity that you received with this invoice, 2 are defective. And vendor allowed you, okay, you adjust it in the subsequent bills. So you created a credit note of 2000 because 2 invoices were, or 2 quantities were defective. Now vendor has sent you another invoice, invoice number 2, which is only for 1000. So while you make the automatic payment program, will you make the payment for the remaining 1000 or you will block that invoice for payment?
Blocking the payment.
Right, so this kind of scenarios can come. It is not necessary that it has to be customer. Even vendor can have a debit balance.
Vikram, I have one question regarding this.
Yeah,
So we are blocking this payment while doing payment, but after that we have to do manual payment to same vendor once the payment run done.
so not required, na? Why will you pay? Tell me one thing, if there is a debit balance, why will you pay to the vendor?
Right. Because we are receiving from the vendor, so no need of any payment.
We are not receiving, we are not paying, we are not receiving. We are just making the payment to those vendors where there is a credit balance. For debit balance vendors, we want to ignore this particular automatic payment program. And that is the reason we are performing the
Oh,
debit balance check.
okay. Once there is a debit balance, so system will show the like there is a debit balance, so system will show the error, right? So we have to
Yes.
block that vendor in that case.
Yes. System will automatically block. When you execute this step, debit balance check, system will automatically block that particular vendor for any payments.
Okay, okay, got it.
Quick question. So, if the scenario is that there is an invoice of $1,000 and a credit note of say $100, so net 900 is the balance. So, in the automatic payment processing, it will see that okay, an invoice of 1,000 minus 100, so net payable is 900, and it will pay 900 only, right?
No, in that case, again, that 100 will be shown as an exception. If you want to include that exception also, you have to select that things. Let me show you. Let me show you. So let's assume first I'll clear this so that there is no confusion. So I'm going with manual F-53 1704-2021. I just want to clear whatever are open as of now for this vendor. So if I want to receive, I will receive. As of now, there is a receipt of 500. Okay, or maybe it is minus 500. So as of now, I'm just keeping it 1. Later on, we will see. So this vendor, I will click on process open items. Value date is mandatory. I'll enter the value date. And then I will click on this and double here. I'll just say star. Okay. And now I'll post it. So as of now, no balance with this vendor. Line item has incorrect debit credit indicator for remaining amount. So that is a reason. So it should be minus 500. Post. Specify positive values only. Okay. In this case, I have to use transaction F-28 because I am receiving the payment. I'm not making the payment. So F-28. This is my account in which I am receiving the payment. The positive should be indicator should be here. And since I'm receiving from vendor, I have to write K here and this account. So process open item. Value date is mandatory field. And then is not defined for document type DZ. Yes, I should change the document type also to, just give me a minute. It should be KZ, right? For vendor related transactions, we use document type KZ. Okay, this is exceptional scenario. Normally, nobody will use this. I'm just trying to clear this invoice so that I can explain you your scenario. That is the reason I'm following this route. Normally, nobody go with this route. K and then process open items. Okay, and post. So now, which means there is no invoice, no payment due for this vendor. Everything is clear. Let's see FBL1N report. Execute, nothing open. So now coming to your scenario, we have an invoice. Let's say 1000. Okay, we have an invoice of 1000 and then we have a credit note of 100, you are saying, right?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, 100. Amount is same only.
The credit debit indicator might be wrong.
It is by default showing debit. It should be credit. Okay, so now we have an invoice and we have a credit memo. Let's go to FB02 to ensure what was our. Okay, let's go to FBL1N. There should be the balance of 900, which we need to pay. Okay, in this invoice, I will quickly remove all these things to avoid confusion. So my payment block indicator also I want to avoid, and payment method I want to make it I. Save it. Okay, and similarly the credit memo also, normally credit memo doesn't have the payment method, but if I enter, it will be considered in the payment run, which means now if I go to F110 and let's say this is number 5 parameters, these are my company codes and these are my vendors. Save parameters. Status and proposal. Start immediately. Okay, let's go to edit proposal. Does not appear. Why? F110. What were our parameters? 17.4, 17.5, XYIN, all the vendors. FBL1N. What is the due date? Tenth April, 1st April. Then it should appear. Why it is not appearing? Okay, got it. This is again very common error. We created proposal number 4. Have we completed that? Proposal is created, but after proposal the payment is not made, right?
Right, it is pending.
So if any proposal is pending, it will not allow you to create another proposal for this vendor. So either you delete the proposal or you make the payment. Okay, because system gets confused. If there is already one proposal, already some invoices are there in that proposal, again it cannot select the same invoices, right? So this is very common error. This is like every monthly you will get this error from the user that I don't know, there are some invoices but they are not appearing. So what you will do is, if you click here, it will show you if there are any proposals which are not completed. So you can say payment have been made. There are two proposals which are stuck in between. So proposal is created but the payment is not made. This is always risky. So what you need to do is either you delete the proposal or you complete the payment. So let me delete the proposal here. So edit proposal and delete the proposal. Right, now you go to fifth one. You have to again delete the proposal and re-execute it. So edit proposal, delete, and then again create a proposal. Start immediately, end.
Hello.
Yes.
Vikram, currently there are five proposals, right? If there are lakhs of data, because this error comes multiple times, right?
Yes. So you have to
So
see now.
so like
Definitely.
what parameter we should give for the search? Because sometimes we don't find at all like which particular proposal is creating issue.
So
Especially
you
it
have to
happens in the
search.
quality system.
No. You have to search with this now. When you go to this one, you can filter this. Which are those? If there are thousands also, then to the last one that are created based on the run date. Those you have to see which one are stopped in between.
Okay.
Okay, let me show you another way also. So
Because I got stuck one time, but I was not able to come out of that particular proposal.
yes. Let me show you another way of doing that. Okay, so first of all, is this clear? Payment proposal has been created. Now if I click on edit proposal, press enter, you can see system is able to select both the invoice as well as credit memo. So the total payment which will be made to this vendor is going to be how much? 900. Rajesh, your question got answered?
Yes. Thank you.
This is only possible because we have entered the payment method in credit memo. In credit memo, if there is no payment method, what will happen? The credit memo will be shown as red. So it will show you one line in red, one line in green. You have to solve that red line. You have to include that in the payment run, and then only system will show you the balance amount to be paid. Okay. Now coming to Arti's question. So now again, my fifth proposal is in between. Neither deleted.
See what I'm telling. If there are like 5 to 6 members in the same team, okay, they will be using same quality and development system. So what they do, they test them multiple times and they leave as it is. And sometimes like data will be more. It comes in like lakhs, right? So it will be very difficult to search like which particular proposal is creating issue. So what should be the
Arti, are you there?
criteria to search that?
Yes. Arti, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, just give me a minute. I'm coming to the same question. The question is, if I already created a proposal, if it is in between, I have not deleted also, and I have not converted this to payment also. Again, if I try to generate a proposal for the same vendor, right? If I click on proposal now, if I click on enter, edit proposal, enter, I may get this message. Okay, or maybe for my vendor, it may not show me any invoice. How to see what exactly is causing this issue? You can go to F110 once again. In the proposal log, can you see this? Can you see this message?
Yeah.
So it is very clear now, right? Which proposal is blocking this? We are running proposal number 4. It is clearly saying that the proposal number 5 date is not allowing us to go ahead.
No, I did not get. Sorry. Can you come again? Where exactly you came for this? If there are 10 invoices, then
It is blocking the vendor, it is not blocking the invoice.
correct. Okay,
So
yeah. And if there are multiple vendors, how we will get to know like which particular vendor is like having issue?
yeah, so you will click on display proposal log. You can see this vendor is having a problem due to this proposal, due to this payment run. So if there are 10 vendors, you will get 10 errors. If there are n number of proposals, you will get n number of errors.
So the proposal which is
Hello?
hello, can you
Yes.
hear me? Yeah, what
Yes.
I'm telling, suppose there are 10 vendors. Okay, so if 7 are creating issues, so those 7 details will come. Correct.
Exactly. Yes.
And the details will show like 17.4.20 this particular date, and the 5 is the identification is creating issue. So we can go in this particular.
Right. Not able to hear you, Aarti.
Yeah, got it, Vikram.
Right. Okay. Okay. So is it clear now? Apart from the payment medium workbench, apart from the last option of print, you know what is proposal, you know what are parameters, you know what is payment run, you know what is debit balance check, you know how to configure the automatic payment program, you know how to execute the automatic payment program. So please try to practice on this particular scenario to create few invoices, try to make the payment through automatic payment program. And if you are facing any issues, then we will definitely discuss in the coming sessions. Okay, any questions before we close? Yes.
What is the use of accounting clerk? Whenever we are adding this proposal, there is an option of accounting clerk.
Accounting clerk means if there are multiple people working in the accounting department, we can tell the system that this vendor will be taken care by a particular accounting clerk. So when it is asking for which accounting clerk you want to see, for example, if you have multiple vendors and as an accounting clerk, you only want to see the proposal for only those vendors which are assigned to you. So in
Okay.
that case, you can enter the accounting clerk, but very rarely, I have not used that feature. I don't know where exactly people are using it, but if you ask me, I worked in European projects, US projects, Indian projects. As of now, not even a single customer used that feature.
Okay. So
Yeah, but
no
that is
any
possibility
question
available in this.
regarding. So no interview question regarding this interviewer ask.
No interview question, but it is very simple. Just remember, accounting clerk itself, you know what is accounting clerk. Accounting clerk means even in your accounting department, there can be multiple people who are working on different areas. So if you want to segregate that, okay, this vendor, this customer, this GL will be taken care by this particular accounting clerk, that segregation you can make.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yes. Okay, then thank you all. See you tomorrow, same time, same link. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Thanks, Vikram.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.